Hey, payday. You want payday? Canelo Alvarez says everybody, Demetrius Andrade, Charlo, David Benavidez, they need to start fighting each other for him to entertain a fight with them. And then he'll fight the winner. Stay tuned. Yo, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some of that boxing. Subscribe to the channel. I'm back. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Now, let's start off with what Canelo said. He did an interview with ES News, and this is what he says. He said, I'll fight anybody, but they need to fight each other too. They're just waiting for me because they want a good payday. I know that, but they need to fight each other, and I'll fight the winner of all them. This is what Canelo said in that interview. Now, it sounds good, but this is the biggest problem. It's like, so for starters, Canelo Alvarez is clearly just listening to old media and fans, like in comment sections, and making this particular statement saying, oh, hey, they need to all fight each other, and, you know, I'll fight the winner. And if you watch the interview, Canelo started even laughing. So I believe personally that Canelo is a diva, you know, and he feels that he earned it out the mud, which, you know, he's been a pro since age 15. But with that being said, there are elements of the way Canelo has come up that other people just aren't privy to. You know, it's not every day that you've seen a superstar boxer who is from Mexico, Spanish speaking, fair skin with red hair. So he was also with Golden Boy and Al Heyman, and, you know, basically they launched this vehicle. The other thing that a lot of the Canelo man fans do not put in perspective, but trust me on this one, Canelo Alvarez, part of his rise to fame, you can thank Floyd Mayweather, because one, Floyd fought him. Two, he made a name, and where he really started booming was being on a black fighter. Floyd easy work. I ain't got to worry about it. Like I said before, being on Floyd Mayweather, an established superstar, and being on his undercards. When Floyd fought Victor Ortiz, Canelo payday, he was on the undercard. When Canelo fought Shane Mosley, that was also on the Floyd Mayweather undercard. And he fought Alfonso Gomez on Floyd Mayweather's undercard. So now Canelo has this experience, and then, you know, after he got his butt whooped by Floyd, he went on to do what he's done. He's done some great things for boxing and for his career. So now he feels like almighty and omnipotent, like feeling that, you know, he did it all himself, but really you didn't. Like, a lot of it was the vehicle and the fast track you were putting on, one, because of how you looked, which you couldn't control. You got to thank your parents for that. And then two, you were staged on Floyd Mayweather undercards, and Floyd was an active fighter, so you came up in that time, versus guys like Charlo, guys like Andrade. They didn't have that. They didn't have, like, you know, imagine if Charlo was like albino with red hair or something, you know what I mean? Like, and then they were putting him on Floyd undercard, maybe he would have a different level of presence in the game too. Or if the same was for David Benavidez, if he had freckles and he looked like the Mad TV logo, or, you know, or whatever. But that's not their particular case, and to each his own. Fair play to Canelo. But he's clearly taking old media talking points and saying everybody got to fight each other in this. The other issue with this particular talking point is Canelo and his fans, they want to use this and say, oh, this guy, they need to fight each other, scrap, and then earn me. And they got to put butts in seats and all these various nefarious excuses for what they need to do in order to impress Canelo or to be deemed worthy. Like, they have to go through this gauntlet and this kumite, right, of sorts. That's They got to go through this blood sport kumite. But there's other people that Canelo is fighting, and they don't have to do any of this. They don't have to fight and prove. They don't even have to come off good performances. Guys like Avni Yildirim, who was on a 2-year layoff, and he had lost to Anthony Durrell. So how's he get an opportunity? Oh, wait, because he's a mandatory, right? Guys like Amir Khan, he looked suspect versus Chris Algieri, who was coming off of Manny Pacquiao. Chris Algieri got destroyed and nearly decapitated by Manny Pacquiao, and that was the performance that garnered him a Amir Khan fight, and he didn't do half bad versus Amir Khan. He even hurt Amir Khan in the first round. So why did Canelo fight Amir Khan? Rocky Fielding, why did he fight him? You see what I'm saying? So there's Billy Joe Saunders had a belt, yes, but he also had belt based on politics. He failed a PED test, never rescheduled the fight with Andrade, moved on with his career, and fought unknown commodity to even get a belt. He shouldn't even really have been up for a belt. So these are the games that Canelo likes to play, and they're not willing to, Canelo and his team and his fans, not willing to tell you this. So my question is this: I can understand your logic if it makes sense and you applied it to everybody, saying like Charlo, Andrade, Benavidez, better be if they got to earn me. So Bevo, he's fighting on co-features. What made you pick him over Better Be if he's a champion at that weight class and he just crucified Marcus Brown, an Olympian? So you can't make this make sense. And Canelo, he wants to play games. He wants to have basically the other fighters tenderized and beat each other up, and then he wants to, you know, at the end come up behind and say I'm fighting the winner of that. But these are the biggest fights for you, and there's been much, like, let's say Yildirim. Imagine if David Benavidez fought Avni Yildirim off of a 2-year layoff. In my personal view, David Benavidez would demolish Avni Yildirim, and it would be worse than what Canelo did. But again, some guys, based on their own individual journey and things like that, they're not afforded these opportunities. So it's really a politics game that we're playing. Canelo, yes, he's done some good things. Yes, he was built up on Mayweather undercards. Yes, he has some stature. He's making money, things like that. But can you imagine if Terrence Crawford or whoever, Charlo, Andrade, if they had the luxury to handpick whoever they want to fight, when they want to fight, and with given a reasonable deal, they can make all these things happen? It would be a different ball game. So just look at how Canelo's moving. He's also picked a Russian fighter, and that is in the midst of the Ukraine invasion by Russia, and Russia is being condemned for their actions in the sports world, and sanctioning bodies and people like Klitschko are protesting. Shop owners are protesting Russian product, and this is the product that Canelo has chosen at perhaps the worst timing for this particular fight. And it's just funny to hear him say that everybody else, they gotta, you know, impress me and do this. Why didn't Rocky Fielding have to do that? He had been knocked out by Caleb Smith in one round or a few rounds or whatever. Why didn't he have to impress you to earn a shot with you? You know what I'm saying? So it's cap, because my thing is this: if you're not going to keep it consistent, then it's cap. So imagine if Devin Haney had the ability to pick and choose. We would have got Ryan Garcia, Teofimo fights, Camboso fights. But Canelo does have, this is what I'm saying, Canelo does have that authority or power, and PBC offered him a great deal, and he chooses to fight on the app. And this is just not the biggest thing for boxing. Tyson Fury today at his press conference that Dillian White did not show up for, Tyson Fury said that Eddie Hearn is irrelevant and DAZN is a sinking ship. You know, and this is the sinking ship that Canelo chooses to fight on. And then now when it comes to other people, he's saying they got to fight each other and do all this. How come Avni Yildirim didn't have to fight Billy Joe Saunders, or Caleb Plant didn't have to fight Billy Joe Saunders, right? And then he'd get the winner, and then they can unify by themselves, and then he could just come fight the winner. How come we didn't see, like, let's say Billy Joe, he's just moving around like it's very strategic, people. Like, imagine if David Benavidez, ask yourself this real question. If David Benavidez fought Billy Joe Saunders, the same Billy Joe Saunders, Would David Benavidez beat Billy Joe Saunders at 168? My thought is yes, and he would have destroyed him. So Canelo, he's like, oh, I was undisputed, I did this and that, but you also have the power to move around, and you know, you have some credentials, so you could just pick and move around and fight Caleb Smith off of a long layoff, fight Billy Joe Saunders a few fights removed of a bad performance and coming off the Martin Murray performance. And then just because you have a name, it becomes corrosive and abusive, in my honest opinion. And it's just funny to hear Canelo say everybody got to fight each other. Let me know what you guys think and what's your take. Drop your thoughts in the comment section, subscribe, and I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.